intentions, just trying to find the right words to say. I promise I already learned my lesson, but right now I wanna be not okay. So tired sitting here waiting. If I hear one more, just be patient, it'll always stay the same. So let me just give up, let me just let go. If it isn't good for me, well, I don't want to know. Let me just stop trying, let me just stop fighting. I don't want your good advice or reasons why I'm alright. You don't know what it's like, you don't know what it's like. Can't stop these feet from sinking, and it's starting to show on me. You're scaring while I'm thinking. I don't want to tell you what I see. So over all this bad luck, hearing one more, keep your head up. Is it ever gonna change? So let me just give up, let me just let go. If it isn't good for me, well, I don't wanna know. Let me just stop trying, let me just stop fighting. I don't want your good advice or reasons why I'm alright. You don't know what it's like, you don't know what it's like. You understand, don't try to pull me back. So let me just give up, let me just let go. If it isn't good for me, well, I don't want to know. Let me just stop trying, let me just stop fighting. I don't want your good advice or reasons why I'm alright. You don't know what it's like, you don't know what it's like. You don't know, you don't know, you don't know, you don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like. You don't know, you don't know, you don't know, you don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like. Oh, oh.
Hello, my name is Tyler Francis, and this was our 2017 youth group mission to New York City. This was our report to the congregation.
Hi, I'm Taya Briggs. I just graduated from high school. I'm moving to UW-Madison in a few days, and this was my 5th mission trip.
I'm Sadie. I'm a senior in high school, and it's my first mission trip.
Hi, I'm Mike Lindner, and this was my very first mission trip.
My name is Tyler. I'm going to be a junior in high school, and this was my 2nd mission trip.
My name is Isaac, and I'm heading into my sophomore year. This is my 2nd missions trip.
Hi, I'm Parker Breen, and I graduated high school this year, and I'm going to UW-Madison, and this is my 4th mission trip.
Hi, I'm Chandler Breen. I'm going to be a sophomore in high school this year, and this was my 2nd mission trip.
Hi, my name is Nikki Briggs. I am the youth director, and this was our 7th or 8th mission trip. I'm not sure. I kind of lost track. We went to New York this year,
For starters, it was a lot longer of a car ride than last year. The time we were in New Jersey, we stopped at a gas station that was under environmental investigation for something, and that was the most disgusting bathroom I'd ever been to.
We saw this bucket of strange stuff. We weren't sure what it was.
We played this trivia game, and what I soon discovered, Tyler is an exceptional trivia player. I am a scientist. I was born in Germany in 1879.
Einstein.
So we decided that instead of playing individually against him, we would band together as a carload and try to beat him, and we still couldn't. What nation of people invented fireworks?
Chinese.
Okay. He definitely needs to go on a game show so that he can win lots of money.
We kind of slept upstairs from a daycare. Parker had an air conditioner right next to him and a fan.
I was the smart one and looked over at the window and air conditioning machine in the corner, and I'm like, I want that spot.
Every night at worship, there was this, our worship leader. She had like 7 pairs of these amazing harem pants. And so then, of course, like everyone was totally jealous and we all wanted some too. So Sadie and I actually both ordered the same pair of pants and it was waiting for us when we got back. So we are both wearing our lovely elephant pants. We just decided we needed them.
What we had to do was landscaping and cleanup and painting of a shelter for teens.
We painted a lot. We painted the door and the railings of the front of their building.
We worked on building benches and tables and flower pot things with wood.
They had asked if we would mulch the property, and so I saw this big dump truck coming, right? And I'm like, surely that dump truck cannot be completely full of mulch.
It was 90 degrees out, and they dumped 10 yards of mulch in a driveway that we had to haul around the house.
I don't think we really thought we were going to finish getting it everywhere.
I really respect and admire these guys because it was a whole dump truck full, and by that time we'd been working for a couple of days, and you know, you get a little bit hot and a little bit tired, and they kept working because they needed it done.
We got to actually finish that and get all the stuff done before their open house.
We actually got to see this projects from the start to the end.
One of the workers, she hadn't worked for a couple days, and then she saw it when we were done, and she started to tear up a little bit. She was like, wow. She's like, you guys did an amazing job, which we felt really, proud of.
So they got to have their house look a little better, and
we were affecting their lives in a really tangible way.
I love foot washing. That's my favorite part.
That to me was really a moving time.
It's the thing that I would say that I appreciate the most is just how kind and how compassionate everybody is towards each other.
We'd all get in a circle. They have a little bin for us to wash our feet with in a rag, and someone would sit down and one person would wash their feet and everybody would pray over them.
We would put our hands on them, telling the person in the chair what we really liked about them
and how we appreciate how God works through them.
The things they shared were really pretty cool.
It was uplifting and made you feel better about yourself. They're telling you like what they like about you, and like
everybody feels so emotionally touched by what other people see in them.
Everyone was pretty emotional during it.
It kind of felt really nice to hear that stuff from other people.
People actually see like good in me and stuff.
People come out and just really show who they are and be vulnerable to other people and let themselves be exposed.
And it's just a really, really seminal part of our worship.
And yeah, we always usually do cry.
As soon as Parker puts his hands at my feet, Parker's already in tears, and I'm in tears, and everyone's in tears, and
everyone was just like bawling, because it's brotherly love. You can't really get much more than that.
Tyler said he's not gonna cry. Tyler was just not gonna cry. And
I did not cry. I refused to cry. Whatever Chandler will say is a lie.
I had to have cried a little bit, just a little bit.
Yes, there was moisture in my eyes, but I did not cry.
Kind of like when we go to mission trip that we like to, kind of learn how to talk their language. So we learned how to say water. So sometimes I'd ask for water for my daughter.
Tournament.
We played a lot of card tournaments.
Card tournaments and euchre. And the place we were working for, decided to give us a taste of New York pizza. So they got us a pizza, they got us a couple pizzas there, and you're supposed to eat New York style pizza by folding it like a taco, and you're supposed to eat it like that, and so we all made sure to eat it in proper style. It was the best pizza I think we had all ever eaten.
That could have been a God moment too. Best pizza ever.
On the last day, we went to New York City. We did everybody's top one thing, and we kept it moving because I don't think we would have made it otherwise.
When we went to the 9/11 memorial, it was kind of an emotional time going through the museum. We saw like all the names and pictures of these people on the wall in remembrance of them.
The last stop we wanted to make was the Empire State Building, but it had rained all day. So the guys told us probably not a good day to go up there. You're probably not going to see anything. We got up there, and they weren't wrong. You didn't see anything. So I spent $35 to look at clouds.
We got scoops of cookie dough. I got 3 scoops, which was kind of a big mistake. If you ever go to the cookie dough place, get only 1 scoop, not 3.
Seeing how like, oh wow, these people have had like not an easy life as me, and they're still enjoying themselves. They're still working hard to try to like make money and go do something with their life. It's just kind of like, wow, like, you know, I really do have it pretty good. I guess I should really think about that more.
I really worked hard on listening better, because I don't think I've ever listened very well my whole life to which way that God is nudging me.
It was just really neat to be able to help people who are not in my situation, but in my age group, and be able to make a difference in their lives.
I have a lot to take for granted in my own life, and so seeing that these people didn't have as much as I did, it was really humbling knowing that I was helping them.
For the week of mission trip, it's not about you, right? And it shouldn't be. It's about giving to the people that you're working for, and letting them see the hands and feet of God.
Kind of showed me what other people are facing in their life.
I want to do mission trip again because that was really fun.
Haley, you're coming with me next year.
Abby, you're coming with me next year.
Oh, I forgot about that, Parker.
Chapter 20, verses 12 through 19. Let me remind you of last week. Last week, Hezekiah was sick. He was going to die. He was mortally ill. And, you know, Isaiah the prophet comes to him and goes, set your house in order because, you know, this is it. You're going to die. That's the kind of news you want to get from a prophet of God. And Hezekiah then ends up praying and pouring his heart out to God. And Isaiah gets sent back with a different message. That's where God says, I've heard your prayers and I've seen your tears. And so I'm going to heal you. And for the sake of my people and for my sake, you're going to live another 15 years. Pretty cool. So this is not long after that. At that time, Berodach Baladan, the son of Baladan, king of Babylon, sent letters and a present to Hezekiah, for he had heard that Hezekiah had been sick. And Hezekiah received them and showed them all the treasures of his house, the silver and the gold and the spices and the precious oils, and his armory, and all that was found among his treasures. In fact, he showed them everything in his house and his own dominion. After this, Isaiah the prophet came to King Hezekiah and said to him, where are these men, where have they come from? Hezekiah said, oh, they've come from a far country, a place called Babylon. And Isaiah said, and what have they seen in your house? And Hezekiah said, they have seen all that is in my house. I showed them everything that I have. At this point, the Hebrew implies but does not show the face palm. And Isaiah said to Hezekiah, Listen now to this word from Jehovah God. Behold, the days are coming when all that is in your house and all that your ancestors laid up in store up till this day shall be carried off to Babylon. Nothing shall be left. And even some of your own sons shall be taken away, and they shall become instead servants and officials in the palace of the Babylonian king. And Hezekiah said to Isaiah, this word of the Lord which you have spoken is just. But this is what he was thinking. As long as there is peace and truth in my days, it will be all right. So, growing up Catholic, like me, you're familiar with something called a hagiography. Have you ever heard that word, hagiography? Okay, so a hagiography is a portrait of a saint. It's a story about saints. And the stories about the saints, these would be the equivalent of, the movies of the week, the biographical movies of the week, in which everyone is always like so good or so smart or so whatever. All of their positive traits are like, that's all you ever see. And so in the stories of the saints, I mean, man, flowers bloomed where they stepped, and I mean, it was crazy. They were just so like, oh, they walk in a room and their angels are humming in the background, hallelujah, right? And so that was, we always thought of the saints that way. And then, of course, anybody who had the word, the saint in front of their name, that's how we would think about them, right? By the way, Protestants, no different. We read Bible stories and we're like, saint, oh, the great saints of old. Let's read about Abraham and let's read about Moses, these wonderful people of God who walked righteously before the Lord and never deviated to the right or the left. Flowers grew up where we never say that, but in your head. In your head, they were like a different class of human being. And so Hezekiah is the kind of person who would easily come into this. In fact, when we're introduced to Hezekiah, remember this, when we're introduced to Hezekiah here in 2 Kings, we are told, King Hezekiah was righteous, he walked before the Lord, he kept all of God's commandments, he knocked down the high places, and he cut down the Asherahs, and he did not deviate from the path that God laid for him. In fact, he was the greatest king that Judah's ever had. Not before or after did they have such a king. And this is what I like about the Bible. The Bible refuses to let us put on our saint glasses and see people in this holy light. Refuses to allow us to imagine them as somehow super pious people. The Bible always insists on showing us just how busted up they are. So here's Hezekiah, and he's feeling pretty smug now that he's been healed. God heard his prayer. I got friends in high places. God heard my prayer, and I'm healed. And God has blessed me in so many ways. And when these guys come from Babylon, this distant land of Babylon, by the way, that's Baghdad in Iraq. That's the city of Babylon. Old Babylon is basically Baghdad. They come, and he's like, let me show you everything. Here's my bedroom. Have you seen my gold-plated toilet? Come this way. Let me show you. Here's where I keep all my gold. Would you like to see my armory and all the cool weapons I have? Right? He shows them everything. They go outside the palace, not even in his house. They go outside the palace. He's like pointing out things. And here's one of our great defenses. I mean, you have to understand something. All diplomats are fundamentally spies as well. I don't mean that they work for the CIA, but I mean that one of the jobs of all diplomats is to observe and report information. And that information becomes part of a sort of a strategic approach to any given country. So that's their job. They're supposed to pay attention to things. And what did you see? Anything interesting? What did you notice? What did you hear? Well, basically, Hezekiah enabled them to case the joint and bring that information back to Babylon. Now, Babylon right now is kind of busy with Assyria. So Babylon's a growing empire, and it's in conflict with the already existing Assyrian empire, and knocking up against each other. And but still, it's not that many years later that the Babylonians are going to come and defeat Judah, and they're going to capture the people at the top of the Judean society, the ones with education, the ones with political capacity, the ones with royal blood, and they're going to drag them to Babylon, and they're going to put them to work there for the king of Babylon. And this period of time is referred to as the Babylonian captivity. It happens in the 6th century. And it's a terrible time for Israel because, they've been taken away from their homeland. So bad, in fact, that there's a prayer in the book of Psalms. Many of you know it by its musical versions. By the rivers of Babylon we sat and wept when we remembered Zion. By the willows in their midst we hung up our harps, and our captors there said to us, "Sing for us one of the songs of Zion." How can I sing the Lord's songs in a foreign land if I forget you, O Jerusalem? May my right hand lose its skill, may my tongue stick to the roof of my mouth, if I do not hold thee, O Jerusalem, as my highest joy. I mean, it's so heart-wrenching, that song, that psalm, right? It just is. And this is what's coming. And Hezekiah is being told, this is what's coming. And it's not, by the way, God is not punishing Hezekiah for being prideful. This is simply the consequence of Hezekiah being stupid, okay? I mean, I just want to be clear about this. His pride allows him to not pay attention. I'm so great and God likes me so much that there's no possible way anything can go bad for me now after all I got healed. So he just does stupid stuff. This is the natural outcome because now the Babylonians know Judah is worth going after. And they know exactly where all the goodies are. So it makes it a lot easier for them. But the Bible also does one more thing, because you hear Hezekiah's response to what Isaiah says, and it sounds like totally like this word from the Lord is good, right? In other words, this is a just thing that the God is saying, oh, I'm being chastised, I was bad. But what he's thinking is something a little bit different, because what he's thinking is, it's okay as long as it doesn't happen while I'm alive. And that thing, that's you and me, right? I mean, you know how that is. I turn on the TV, I look at Puerto Rico or any of the other places that have been devastated lately. Oh, that's terrible. That's just so terrible. And then I turn off the TV and I take a shower and I drink my water and, because as long as I've got mine, I'm okay. I mean, let them see to it themselves. I mean, I've helped. I gave my money to Red Cross. Okay, I gave my money to UMCOR, but, I gave my money. So let them take care of that. That's somebody else's problem. As long as I've got mine, I don't have to worry about it. As long as I'm well-fed, I don't have to worry if someone else is hungry. As long as I've got my toys, it doesn't really matter. It's a wonderful saying. I think it comes from Chief Seattle, but I'm not 100% sure, but I remember the saying so well. We do not inherit the earth from our parents. We borrow it from our grandchildren. But what do we say? As long as I have access to some clean water, it doesn't matter if there's no clean water in a couple generations. That's not my problem. Let them see to it. As long as I have decent air to breathe, and if it's all polluted in a couple generations, it doesn't matter because I need to get my profit now. And what happens down then, that's somebody else. Let them deal with that. Let them deal with that. That's the attitude we have. That's the thing that we think. That's the way we kind of operate in our lives. I mean, I keep going, global warming. It's kind of good for Madison, Wisconsin. I mean, the weather around here has been decent. So, okay. As long as I got mine. I do recognize, of course, the irony of this. Okay? Because Jesus says, Jesus, the one who I follow and serve, supposedly, says, he says, the rulers among the Gentiles. They love to lord it over those who are under them, but it's not to be that way with you. If you aspire to be first, then you must choose to be last. If you are the master, then you must become the servant. For the Son of Man did not come to be served, but rather to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for all. Can you find the prayer response? Let's pray that together. As long as there is peace and comfort in my days, why worry? As long as the air is breathable for me, as long as my water is clean, as long as I have a nice place to live and plenty to eat, as long as I have good health care, as long as I have toys and distractions, as long as all is well for me, then as far as I'm concerned, all is well. The lives of others, the world my great-grandchildren inherit, these are no concern of mine. Let them see to it themselves. Lord Jesus, from Hezekiah to me, there is an unbroken preoccupation with self, and it does not escape my notice that I serve myself while claiming as Lord the one who came to be the servant of all. Have mercy on me in my brokenness. Amen.
Everywhere I go, my Lord, everywhere I go, somebody's talking about Jesus. He healed the sick in Galilee. Somebody's talking about Jesus. He called the bound and he set them free. Somebody's talking about Jesus. Well, everywhere I go, everywhere I go, my Lord, everywhere I go, there is somebody talking about Jesus. He told the dead, be born again. Somebody talking about Jesus. He called the bound, they were men. Somebody talking about Jesus. Well, everywhere I go, everywhere I go, my Lord, everywhere I go. They hung him on a cross to die. Somebody talking about Jesus. They crucified the Lord Most High. Somebody talking about Jesus. They buried him and thought he'd gone. Somebody talking about